Take us back to the day when you attempted suicide. What was that breaking point like for you?
That day began like any other day, but of course, um, that particular day I had a plan. And so everyone was at school. My husband went to work, and everything was in its proper place. That morning, I made sure my paperwork was where it was supposed to be. I made sure the house was clean. I took a shower and flat ironed my hair. I don't know what that was all about. I figured if I was going to go to Glory, I'd be cute. And I put on a dress, and I got into bed. And that is pretty much how that day went.
And how do you feel that coming out of that and transitioning from that has affected your family?
My family, it has definitely been a process. First of all, they're just overjoyed that I'm still here, and so am I. And I think more of the metamorphosis came as just going to the facility and going through therapy and learning how to just be in society again, learning how to be with my family again. And so, a kind of a rebonding for us is what it's been, getting to know each other again.
A lot of times when people go through suicide or mental health, it's so uncomfortable for them to talk about. It's almost like they don't want anyone to know. So what I would like for you to do is talk to us a little bit about, what made you decide to be brave enough to become an advocate for suicide prevention and share your story with the public.
I think being an author and writing a book, it was easy, right? Because there was like nobody could see you, nobody could touch you, and I felt like that was enough. But when I almost attempted suicide for a second time, and I had to go and physically get help for myself and go through the programs, that's when I became an advocate. I became an advocate before I even knew I was an advocate. I still recall when they placed me in my room, they placed me in a room with a woman that had attempted to murder someone. And that's where I learned that the mental health, it was not all equal. I'm like, okay, I attempted suicide. This person attempted to kill someone, yet they put us in the room together. And so my first day as an advocate was actually in the facility where I went to my psychiatrist that day when I had my visit, and I let him know, I said, I understand what I'm here for, but I don't understand why I'm placed where I'm placed. And then I began to see that my voice then, by the end of the night, our rooms were changed. And by the end of the night, that was like my first day as an advocate. And so I want to speak for people who don't have their voice yet, who don't even know, what it's like to be in the mental health system.
And I think with you being a woman of color and you being so brave and sharing your story, it really opens up the door to address the stigma around mental health in African American communities. We're told, most of us in our household, what happens in this house stays in this house. So talk to us a little bit about how you address the stigma around mental health.
Wow. So the stigma around mental health is just vast, right? No matter what your color, no matter how much money you have, where you live, where you're from, mental health is just one of those taboo topics that everyone wants to just sweep under the rug. Like you said, what happens in this house stays in this house. And I feel like as a society, that's how we are with mental health. We're just like sweep it under the rug. And so with the African American community, that was one of my barriers to treatment, was the stigma. Well, your prayer life's not right. You need to pray more. You must not be living right. You need to get on your knees and talk to God more about it. What have you done to make this happen to you? And then that makes the person draw inside. And so for me as a woman of color and putting my face to it and saying, hey, this is me. This is where I come from. I got help. I go to therapy. I take my medication. I exercise, I visit the doctor, and just letting other people of color know you can survive, you can make it. It is okay to not be okay.
I love that. And for those of your followers and people who know you personally, they've been able to see how becoming an advocate has changed your life. But talk to us a little bit more in depth about how being an advocate has not only changed your life, but the lives of others as well.
Wow, being an advocate has changed my life in so many ways. I'm more confident. I feel like I truly have a purpose. It might have been the worst thing that could ever happen to me, but it's the best thing that could ever happen to me because I can share with other people to live that what you're going through won't last forever. What you're dealing with won't last forever, and you can get help. What you're dealing with, someone else is dealing with too, and you're not alone. And I think that just gives me a sense of fulfillment like no other. It's not about me.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely feel like this is something that is taboo to talk about, definitely. And, there are people who suffer in silence, and they may even be watching you right now. So what would you say to someone who may be experiencing these feelings and they are afraid to address their mental illness because of the barriers?
Because of the barriers. Well, just know that there's help. I would tell them there's help. There's organizations like NAMI, the National Association on Mental Illness. There's the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and they have hotlines and websites, and there's just a bevy and a community of people that are ready and willing to help, and you're not alone. And the biggest thing I felt like is I'm a waste of space. I'm doing too much. I'm taking up too much of the people in my life, and it's just me. But it's not just you. And I would tell them it's not just you. And there is help, and there are people who will understand and be there for you. There is help.
I love that message, and it actually ties into my last question, and I really think that the viewers need to hear this. So for not even just someone who's struggling with suicide, but just struggling with purpose, period. Talk to us a little bit about why you feel like life and living life is so important.
That's really simple because I almost lost it. It's like the moment that I almost lost my life and I was fighting for my life is the moment that I saw that life is so beautiful. I began to look at things differently. I still remember being in the facility and all I had was one window. And I remember every day that I could look out that window, I would see a bird. I would see a leaf fall from the tree. I would see the sun come out, and just starting to learn to appreciate so many things in this ugly world. There are so many beautiful things. There are so many beautiful places, and there are so many beautiful people. But in order to see it, you got to keep living.
Well, I definitely appreciate you joining us today. It has been a pleasure to sit with the lovely B. Smith with Be Inspired Talks, and thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for